From the flickering flames of campfires to the dim glow of our phone screens, humanity has always been drawn to the macabre. We gather close, sharing tales of the unexplained, our voices hushed with a mixture of fear and fascination. These stories, passed down through generations, whisper of a realm beyond our own, where the veil between the living and the dead thins. Ghost stories are more than just entertainment. They are threads woven into the very fabric of our cultures. They reflect our deepest fears, our beliefs about the afterlife, and our enduring fascination with what lies beyond the realm of the tangible. Whether whispered around a campfire or shared through the digital ether, ghost stories remind us that our reality is but one layer in a tapestry of existence. Across the globe, every culture has its own unique tapestry of ghost stories, each one reflecting the beliefs, fears and superstitions of its people. From the vengeful spirits of Japanese folklore to the mischievous fairies of Celtic myth, these tales offer a glimpse into the diverse ways in which humanity has attempted to make sense of the unknown. In the icy landscapes of Scandinavia, stories abound of restless spirits, forever bound to the physical world, seeking solace or revenge. The wailing of the banshee echoes through Irish legends, her mournful cries a harbinger of impending death, while in the American South, tales of haunted plantations and vengeful slaves whisper of a dark history that continues to haunt the present. These stories, passed down through oral traditions or scribed in ancient texts, serve as a testament to the universality of our fascination with the supernatural. In an age of reason and scientific advancement, one might assume that our fascination with the supernatural would wane. Yet ghost stories continue to captivate our imaginations. Their grip on our collective psyche is strong as ever. Why are we so drawn to these tales of terror, these glimpses into a realm where logic and reason hold no sway? Perhaps it is the thrill of the unknown, the adrenaline rush that comes from confronting our deepest fears in the safe confines of a story. Or maybe it is the seductive possibility that death is not the end, that our consciousness lingers on, capable of reaching out from beyond the veil. Whatever the reason, ghost stories offer us a temporary escape from the mundane, a chance to explore the shadowy corners of our imaginations and confront the mysteries that lie at the heart of the human experience. In the land of the rising sun, where ancient traditions intertwine with modern life, ghost stories, or kaidan, hold a prominent place in Japanese folklore. These tales, passed down through generations, often explore themes of love, loss, revenge, and the unsettling persistence of the past. One of the most enduring figures in Japanese horror is the yurei, a vengeful spirit often depicted in a white kimono, with long black hair obscuring its face. Driven by a powerful rage or sorrow, yurei are said to haunt specific locations or individuals, seeking retribution for past wrongs. The tale of Okiku, the spirit of a young servant girl who was murdered after being falsely accused of stealing a precious plate, is a chilling example of a yurei's wrath. Ireland, with its ancient Celtic roots and mist-shrouded landscapes, is a land steeped in folklore and superstition. Ghost stories are deeply ingrained in Irish culture, reflecting a belief in the thin veil that separates the living from the dead. Among the most haunting figures in Irish folklore is the banshee, a female spirit whose mournful cries are said to herald the impending death of a family member. Often depicted as a woman with long, flowing hair and a sorrowful visage, the banshee's wail is a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present shadow of mortality. Equally unsettling are the tales of the Dullahan, a headless horseman who rides through the night, carrying his severed head beneath his arm. In the American South, where the legacy of slavery casts a long shadow, ghost stories often reflect the region's turbulent history and the enduring trauma of its past. Plantations, once grand estates built on the backs of enslaved people, are frequently depicted as haunted by the restless spirits of those who suffered and died within their walls. Stories abound of spectral figures in chains, their mournful cries echoing through the night, seeking solace or justice for the horrors they endured. Some tales speak of vengeful spirits driven by the pain of their past to haunt the descendants of their former oppressors. These stories serve as a chilling reminder of the human cost of slavery and the enduring power of the past to haunt the present. As technology advances, so too does our relationship with the supernatural. In the digital age, ghost stories have found new life online, shared through social media, podcasts, and video platforms. Reaching a global audience with unprecedented speed and reach, the internet has become a breeding ground for creepypastas, short, often disturbing tales of horror designed to be shared and spread online. These stories, often rooted in contemporary fears and anxieties, tap into our unease with the digital world and the blurring lines between reality and the virtual realm. From haunted video games to cursed websites, the digital world has become an extension of our own, complete with its own set of spectral inhabitants and unexplained phenomena. The human brain is wired for survival. We are constantly scanning our environment for potential threats, our senses primed to detect any sign of danger. Ghost stories, with their tales of shadowy figures, unexplained noises, and things that go bump in the night, tap into this primal fear response. Our hearts race, our palms sweat, and our minds conjure up images of lurking dangers, even though we know rationally that we are safe. This physiological response to fear, however unpleasant it may be in the moment, is part of what makes ghost stories so compelling. Like a roller coaster ride or a scary movie, ghost stories allow us to confront our fears in a controlled environment, emerging from the experience with a sense of exhilaration and relief. Humans are curious creatures by nature. We are driven to explore, to understand, to make sense of the world around us. But there are limits to what we can know, mysteries that continue to elude our grasp. Death, in particular, remains the ultimate enigma, a boundary we cannot cross and a realm we cannot fully comprehend. Ghost stories offer us a glimpse into this unknown territory. They tantalize us with the possibility that consciousness persists beyond death, that our loved ones may still be with us in some form, even if we can't see or touch them. This notion, however unsettling it may be, holds a certain allure for many, offering a glimmer of hope in the face of our own mortality. The ambiguity of ghost stories is also part of their appeal, often leaving us with unanswered questions, forcing us to confront the limits of our own understanding. Ghost stories are more than just scary tales. They are cultural artifacts, reflecting the beliefs, values and anxieties of the societies that create them. They offer a unique window into a culture's relationship with death, the afterlife, and the supernatural realm. In some cultures, ghosts are seen as malevolent entities to be feared and avoided. These stories often serve as cautionary tales, warning against transgressions against societal norms or disrespect for the dead. In other cultures, ghosts are viewed as more benign, even benevolent figures, offering guidance or protection to the living. The specific details of ghost stories also reveal cultural anxieties and fears, such as haunted technology in a technologically advanced society. Ghost stories have been a part of human culture for millennia, passed down through oral traditions and later through written texts. Despite the rise of modern forms of entertainment, these tales continue to captivate audiences, their power to chill and thrill seemingly undiminished by time. What is it about storytelling and ghost stories in particular that continues to resonate with us so deeply? Perhaps it is the intimacy of the experience. Whether huddled around a campfire or listening to a podcast in the dark, ghost stories create a sense of shared experience, a bond forged in the face of fear and wonder, Storytelling also allows us to process complex emotions in a safe and cathartic way. Fear, grief, loss, guilt, these are all universal human experiences that can be difficult to confront directly. Ghost stories provide a safe space to explore these emotions, to confront our deepest fears and anxieties through the lens of fiction. What makes a ghost story truly terrifying? Is it the blood and gore, the graphic violence that assaults our senses? While such elements can certainly have a visceral impact, the most effective ghost stories often rely on subtler techniques. One key element is suspense. A master storyteller knows how to build tension gradually, like a tightening coil, keeping the audience on the edge of their seats, anticipating the moment when the other shoe finally drops. This can be achieved through pacing, through carefully chosen details, and through the strategic use of silence and suggestion. Another crucial element is atmosphere. The setting of a ghost story can be as important as any character, creating a sense of place that is both familiar and unsettling. In the realm of horror, what is left unsaid can be far more terrifying than anything explicitly stated. Our imaginations, fueled by fear and uncertainty, rush to fill in the blanks, often conjuring up something far more horrifying than the storyteller could ever explicitly describe. Silence itself can be a powerful tool. A sudden hush in the middle of a chilling tale, a moment of stillness after a series of unsettling events. These pauses create a vacuum of anticipation, a sense that something is about to happen. The strategic use of ambiguity can also heighten the sense of unease, leaving us questioning our senses, unsure of what is real and what is imagined. Our minds are highly susceptible to suggestion, especially when we are feeling vulnerable or afraid. A skilled storyteller can exploit this by planting seeds of doubt and fear in our minds, allowing them to take root and grow into full-blown terrors. This can be achieved through subtle cues in the narrative, through the use of sensory details that evoke feelings of unease, or through the introduction of seemingly innocuous objects or events that take on a sinister significance as the story unfolds. The power of suggestion is particularly effective when it taps into our pre-existing fears and anxieties. At their core, the most effective ghost stories are often reflections of our own deepest fears and anxieties. They tap into our primal instincts, our fears of death, the unknown, and the loss of control, giving them a tangible form that we can confront, however uneasily, through the safe distance of a story. The fear of the supernatural is often rooted in our fear of the unknown. What happens to us after we die? Are we truly alone in the universe? These are questions that have haunted humanity since the dawn of time. But ghost stories also tap into more immediate fears, the fear of violence, of being watched, of losing control of our own minds or bodies. Our modern ghost story unfolds in the seemingly peaceful suburbs where Sarah agrees to dog-sit, unaware of the nightmare awaiting her. The Victorian house seems idyllic but hides a dark secret. Sarah dismisses the unsettling feeling as nerves. Her Labrador, Buddy, explores happily, but even Buddy can't dispel the growing unease. As the sun sets, strange occurrences begin. Footsteps echo from the empty hallway, doors creak open on their own. Buddy whines, staring at the deepening shadows. The first night in the house proves to be a sleepless ordeal for Sarah. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of wind in the eaves sends a shiver down her spine. She tries to rationalize the strange occurrences, attributing them to the house settling or her overactive imagination. But deep down, a primal fear takes root, whispering that she is not alone. Buddy, sensing her unease, sticks close, his warm body a comforting presence against her trembling legs. But even his unwavering companionship cannot fully quell the terror that mounts with each passing hour. The whispers seem to grow louder, the shadows more defined, taking on menacing shapes in the flickering light of the street lamps outside. Desperate for a distraction, Sarah tries to lose herself in a book, but the words blur before her eyes. The air grows heavy, thick with an unseen presence. A cold spot, distinctly human in shape, settles on the couch beside her, though she is alone in the room. Her breath catches in her throat, and she can no longer deny the terrifying reality. Something is wrong in this house. The following day, Sarah attempts to contact her friends, seeking reassurance or perhaps an excuse to cut her stay short. But her calls go unanswered, adding to her growing sense of isolation. She considers leaving, finding solace in a hotel room far from the unsettling presence that permeates the house. But something holds her back, a strange sense of responsibility for Buddy, who now seems as uneasy as she is. As another night descends upon the house, the paranormal activity escalates. Objects move inexplicably, lights flicker erratically, and the whispers morph into guttural voices emanating from the walls themselves. Buddy, his playful demeanour replaced with a low growl, paces restlessly, his hackles raised, his gaze darting to every shadowed corner. Then, in the dead of night, a blood-curdling sound pierces the silence. A mournful howl emanating from Buddy, directed at the closed door of the guest room, a room that had remained undisturbed since Sarah's arrival. The howl, filled with a primal terror that chills Sarah to the bone, confirms her worst fears. Whatever haunts this house, it has made its presence undeniably known. Sarah's stay is a blur of sleepless nights and heart-stopping encounters. She clings to her sanity as the paranormal activity intensifies. The house, once a symbol of comfort, has become a prison, a battleground between the living and something sinister. Her friend's return brings relief, but Sarah hesitates to share her ordeal. The story seems too unbelievable. She leaves with a sense of profound unease, forever marked by the unseen guest. The house remains, its secrets buried deep within, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul. As our journey into the heart of darkness comes to a close, let us linger for a moment in the shadows where fear and fascination intertwine. Imagine, if you will, a solitary traveller caught in the grip of a moonless night. The road ahead is shrouded in an impenetrable fog, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and the promise of unseen things. Each step forward is an act of faith, a gamble against the unknown. The traveller's heart pounds a steady rhythm against his ribs, each beat echoing the rustling of leaves in the unseen forest that lines the path. A twig snaps underfoot, the sound amplified in the stillness, sending a jolt of adrenaline through his veins. He quickens his pace, driven by an instinctive urge to outrun the growing sense of unease that clings to him like a second skin. But there is no escaping the feeling that he is being watched, followed by something unseen, something that moves with a chilling grace just beyond the reach of the fog-choked moonlight. Ghost stories, like the traveller on that desolate road, stay with us long after the tale has been told. They linger in the back of our minds, casting long shadows on our otherwise rational thoughts, reminding us that the world is a place of mystery, where the veil between the seen and unseen can be thin indeed. We carry these stories with us, not as burdens, but as reminders of our own mortality, of the fragility of our existence, and of the enduring power of the human imagination to conjure both terror and wonder. They teach us to question what we think we know, to embrace the unknown, and to find beauty in the darkness. As you turn off your screens and step back into the familiar comfort of your own reality, remember that the line between fact and fiction can be easily blurred. Listen closely to the whispers of the wind, to the creaking of your own homes, to the stories passed down through generations. For within those tales, the spirits of our collective past still speak, reminding us that the most terrifying monsters are often the ones we create ourselves.